Welcome to this week's Hebrew class, and as you can see, we are in the book of John, which in Hebrew can be called Yehuchanan, or in modern Hebrew, Yochanan. And we will cover verses 1 to 5. So let us begin. And as I do each week, I present the resources which will be very helpful to you in your study, and of course the vowel marks, for anyone who's not too familiar with using the vowels. So let us begin. And we begin, of course, with the left, which has a value of 1 being the first letter of the alphabet. And then we like to go through the letters. Vav, Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin, He, Lamed, Kaf, Sofit, meaning Kaf at the end of a word, Aleph, Lamed, He, Resh, He, Zion, Yod, Tav, Yod, Mem, Sofit. And we read it. That Yahushua and Yahusha, Halak, he went, because the perfect form we can say he went, El2, Har, meaning the mountain, and I've added of. Ha-Zaytim, meaning the olives, the Mount of the Olives. And the translation, and Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives. And I've given you also Zayit, which is a masculine noun meaning olive tree, olive fruit, or olive color. So it can be used in all those forms. And so we read it. V'Yahushua halak el har ha-zaytim. And Yahusha, he went to the Mount of the Olives. And so we come to verse 2, represented with a Vayet, the second letter of the alphabet. So it has a numerical value of 2. And we go through the letters. Vav, Yod, He, Yod, Vayet, Bayet, because of the dot, Kuf, Resh, Vav, Yod, Vayet, Aleph, Ayin, Vav, Dalet, Aleph, Lamed, He, Mem, Kuf, Dalet, Shin. And we'll notice that both of these are in white, meaning we don't actually pronounce them. So let's read. He, and it was Vaboker, in the morning. Vayavo, and he came. Because of the prefix, it's a completed action, and he came. Od, which can mean yet, again, or still, and it is L2 ha-mikdash, to the holy place. That's the more accurate because it comes from, I guess, kadosh, which is holy. And it means to the sanctuary or to the temple. And I've given you odd down here as an adjective, can mean more, another, again, still, yet. And I've given you the correct name for temple, which is hekal, which is a masculine noun which can mean temple or it can even mean palace. And so we can read that. Vehi vaboker vayavo od el ha-mikdash. And it was in the morning, and he came yet or again, or still, to the holy place, to the sanctuary or the temple. And so we turn now to part B. We have a Vav, a Kaf, a Lamed, a He, Ayin, Mem, Sofit, Mem at the end of a word. And we have Bayet, Aleph, Vav, Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Vav, Vav, Yod, Shin, Vayet, Vav, Yod, Lamed, Mem, Dalet, Mem, Sofit. And we read it. V'kol, and all ha'am, the people, ba'u, they came, because again it's a perfect form, elev, unto him, va'yeshev, and he sat down, or he just sat. And that comes from yashav. It's a kol verb to sit down, to dwell, or to stay. And he sat down, ve'la medem, and he taught them. Vala medem, and he taught them. And it comes from lamat, which is a cold verb to learn, to acquire knowledge, or limed, which is a PL verb to teach, to explain, or to instruct. So, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. So now we can read that. V'kol ha'am ba'u elaiv vayeshev ve'lamedem. And all the people, they came unto him, and he sat down and he taught them. And so we now come to 3a, which begins with a gimel, which is the third letter of the alphabet. And then we go through letters. Vav, Yod, Ved, Yod, Aleph, Vav, Hey, Samek, Vav, Fei, because there's no dot, Resh, Yod, Mem, Safit, Vav, Hey, Pei, because of the dot, Resh, Vav, Shin, Yod, Mem, Safit, Lamed, Fei, Nun, Yod, Vav, Aleph, Shin, Hey, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Nun, Tav, Pei, Sin, because of the dot on that side, Hey. And we read it. Vaya vi u, and they brought. So if we look down at the root there, hevi is a verb to bring, to transport, to bring with. So, and they brought. And of course, with the u at the end, it's a third person pronoun. Ha, sof, rim, meaning the scribes. Of course, sefer meaning a scroll, right? So they're the scribes. The ha, perushim, and the perushim, the Pharisees. Le, fanaiv, to his face, which is often translated before him. And I guess the him is like the vav, it can be his or him. Isha, meaning a woman. Asher, who, nit pe sa, was caught. So let's have a look. It comes from te ta fas, which is a cold verb to catch, to apprehend, to grasp. And I've also given you safar, which is a cold verb to count, to enumerate, and I've given you sofer. As a masculine noun, it means author, scribe, writer. So I'm just giving you some variations of words so that you begin to understand they can be used in different senses. And so the translation, the scribes and the Pharisees brought before him a woman who was caught. Vaya vi u ha sofrim, v'ha perushim, le fanaiv, isha asher nit pe sa. And they brought the scribes and the perushim, the Pharisees, to his face or before him, a woman who was caught. And so now we come to 3b. We have a Bayit, Nun, Aleph, Fe, Vav, Fe, Yod, Hey, Vav, Yod, Ayin, Mem, Yod, Dalet, Vav, Hey, Bayit, Tav, Vav, Kaf, Sofit. And then we read it. Be, Na'a, Fu, Fe, Ha. In her adultery. So we see the bet is in, and the hey at the end means her, so I have to look what's in the middle. And it comes from na'af, which is a cold verb to commit adultery. So when we see the root word there, na'af. Right, and then we go here, Vaya'a mi du ha. And, that's a vav, they stood her. And again, we have two pronouns. Here, this one means they, third person, and the hey is her. And it's a completed form because the vav and the yod at the beginning. So they stood her. Ba, ta, vek, in the middle. So we go down here, we got tavek is a masculine noun meaning center, middle, or in between. And I've given you also amad, which means to stand, to be situated, to be positioned. And of course, tok means inside, midst, or interior. And so, who was caught in her adultery, and they stood her in the middle? Now, the questions arise here is that, where is the man? If they caught her, where's the man? According to Torah. So we read it. Be'na'a fu feha vaya'ami du ha ba tavek. In her adultery, and they stood her in the middle. And so we can now turn to 4a, which is represented with the dalet, the fourth letter of the alphabet. And we go Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Vav, Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Vav, Mem, Vav, Resh, Hey, Hey, Aleph, Shin, Hey, Hey, Zion, Aleph, Tav, Nun, Tav, Pei, Sin, Hey. And we read it. Va, Yom, Ru. And they said, Eliv, unto him, More, teacher, Ha-isha, the woman, Hazot, this, Nit, Pe-sa, was caught. Again, we've got the same root, tefas, mean to catch, to grasp, to comprehend. And I also put it as though it is also spelt with a sin as above. So we see the spelling is different, but it's got that root. And then we have also hora, which is a verb to instruct or to point out. So they stood her in the middle and they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught. Why I've given you hora is it's sort of the root of more. More is the noun, the one instructing. And so I've given you the form, which is like a hifil form of verb, to instruct, to point out. So now we can read that. And it is, Vayomru Elev More Ha-isha Hazot Nit Pe-sa. And they said unto him, Teacher, the woman this was caught. And now we have 4b, and we have an ayin lamed, mem ayin sin hey, nun aleph vav fe hey. Al, meaning regarding, it can mean, if we look down here, al can mean about, regarding, besides, because of, on, over, upon. So there's quite a few meanings. Regarding ma'aseh, which is an act of. Ma'aseh meaning a deed or an act or a work. Regarding an act of ni'ufa, adultery. Now I've given you na'af, which is a kal verb to commit adultery. Right. And so this woman was caught because of an act of adultery. And then we read it. Al ma'aseh ni'ufa. And the translation, regarding an act of adultery. Now you notice down here I've also given you al, which is the same spelling as al. but as a masculine noun actually means burden or yoke. So just showing you that with changes in vowel marks, it can have different meanings. So now we come to 5, represented with a hey, the 5th letter of the alphabet. And then we go through the letters. Vav, mem, shin, hey, zade, vav, nun, vav, veit, tav, vav, resh, hey, lamed, samek, kuf, lamed, nun, shin, yod, mem, safit, kaf, aleph, lamed, hey. Vav, aleph, tav, hey, mem, hey, tav, aleph, mem, resh. So let's read it. U, Moshe, and Moshe, or Moses. Sivanu, he commanded us. We know that sav means command, or siva is a verb to order, to command, to direct. Va Torah, in the Torah, in the law. Lis kol, to stone. So sakol also means to stone. Na shim, meaning women, that's a plural form. Ka e le, like these. V'ata, and you. Ma, what. To mar, do you say. The tav acts as a second person, but also an imperfect form. What do you say? And I've given you the root here, amar, which is the call verb to say, to tell. And I've told you that it's a second person future tense. And so we can read that. Moshe, sivanu, va Torah, lis kol, na shim, ka e le, v'ata ma tomar. And Moshe, he commanded us in the Torah to stone women like these. And you, what do you say? Right, and the translation, Moses commanded us in the law to stone women like these. But what do you say? So we know that they're trying to trap him. And now we come to our revision of this portion. First, we see in the left, we know we're in verse 1. Yahushua, and Yeshua, halak, he went, to Har, the mountain, Ha-zetim, of the olives. And Yahushua, he went to the Mount of the Olives. Then we have Veit, verse 2, he, and it was. Va boker, in the morning, Vayavo, and he came, Od, again, or still, to Ha Mikdash, the holy place, the sanctuary or the temple. And it was in the morning, and he came again to the sanctuary, or to the temple. Vekol, and all ha'am, the people, ba'u, they came, elev, unto him, vayeshev, and he sat, vaylamedem, and he taught them. And all the people, they came unto him, and he sat down, and he taught them. And then we turn to 3, which is a gimel. Vaya vi'u, and they brought ha-sophrim, the scribes, the ha-perishim, and the Pharisees, lefanev, before him, or to his face, isha, a woman, asher, who, nit pesa, was caught. And they brought the scribes and the perishim, the Pharisees, to his face, or before him, a woman who was caught. be naa fu fe ha, in her adultery. Vaya amidu ha, and they stood her, batavek, in the middle, in her adultery, and they stood her in the middle. And we have a dalet, which has a value 4, in verse 4. Vayom ru, and they said, Elev unto him, More, teacher, ha isha, the woman, ha zot this, nit pesa, was caught. And they said unto him, Teacher, the woman this was caught. Al, which means regarding, ma'aseh, meaning a deed, an act, ni'ufa, which is her adultery, an act of her adultery. Regarding an act of her adultery. Then we have a hey, value 5, Moshe, and Moshe, Sivanu, commanded us, va Torah, in the Torah, lis kol, to stone, nashim, women, ka'ele, like these, ve'ata, and you, ma what, tomar, do you say? And Moshe, he commanded us in the Torah to stone women like these. And you, what do you say? And now we come, of course, to our vowel marks, just to remind us that a kamatz has a slightly longer A sound, a patak is a shorter A, zere has a longer drawn out E, and segol is a shorter E. Shava, it breaks the word into its syllables. Cholam is the O sound. Shuruk, a short U sound. And kubutz, a longer U. And then we have a combination of Shava and segol called a kataf, segol. Then we have chirik, the I sound. And then we have a combination again called a kataf, patak. After the Shava, we see the patak. And then we have also a kataf, kamatz. After the Shava, a kamatz. And finally, just to highlight our resources again, to encourage you to use them, and also a chart of the values of all the letters. And we see that a vav is 6, a yod is 10, nun is 50, shin is 300, Zadeh is 90, Tet is 9, Kuf is 100, and Resh is 200. So we'd like to thank you for joining us for this lesson, and we do hope you are blessed by going through these lessons. They're here to bring blessing to you, to help all of us have better understanding of the Hebrew. And we just want to wish you a Shavua Tov, because we do believe that Hebrew is the holy tongue. And so we just want to wish you all the best in Yeshua, our Messiah. And may you continue in your journey, in your quest of the Hebrew. Amen.